Next up, we have Exit This Earth's Atmosphere from Planet Shaper by Camellia. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. If you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, consider becoming a member, like one of them paid subscriptions and things, support the channel that way. Two disclaimers. Number one, I will be pausing a lot, because it is my first time hearing this song, and I will be pointing things out as I hear them. Number two, this is happening live on stream. I record these live on stream on a single take, so whatever happens, happens. So, with that being said, let's do this. Exit This Earth's Atmosphere. Let's go. Okay. All right, we start with one hit of a bass drum, fairly distant. We are having our hi-hat hitting, and we are having a syncopated synth. Syncopation, it just means it's playing against the beat instead of with the beat. Gives it a sense of pace, and it seems to me like it's a good intro. It's a decent way of introducing things, because once again, when you're making music, you want to do one of two things. You want to keep a balance between what is familiar and what is new. And to do that, you introduce things fairly slowly. You drip feed things to the listener if you want. And this seems to be it. Let's see where this goes. That's synth again, yeah. Oh, I like that. We added one extra beat there to displace the rhythm of the hi-hat. And that alone gave it a lot more sense of pace. Thank you for hanging out, Nico. And just get you around. Let's see. Building upwards, upwards, upwards. Let's see where it goes. Ooh. Okay, so we have a moment of just building up. We go off the ramp. Off the ramp, it's a colloquial term that I use. By the way, colloquial just means that there is no academic term for this, or at least I'm choosing not to use it. And it's basically a way to make a transition, make your listener feel up in the air, like suspended, like going off the ramp. That sense of inertia is just remove the drums. That's what happened. A couple of seconds here. It's very common for dropping the beat. And yeah, we brought out another synth and all that good stuff. Israel, welcome today. How you doing? Let's see. Okay, so element-wise, not too much has changed. We switched out the hi-hat for the kick drum because it's roughly the same rhythm, and the synth that was offbeat is still there, but now we have a bass line that is on the beat, giving us this really cool back and forth, kind of almost like a call and response between that synth, which is now a little bit lower, and the bass. And the call and response is basically bouncing off musical ideas between two instruments. One instrument does one thing, another one answers immediately. It doesn't have to be an instrument, it can just be like a group or a section or something like that. So let's see. Okay, we build up. Alright. Off the ramp we go once again. Oh, that's a lovely way of changing. I was gonna say, it's risky to do two of these transitions in 1 minute. But we changed the landscape once again. We left the atmosphere. Now we have this. It's a very lovely thing to do when you have these high strings, like the violins playing very nice high chords very softly. Gives you that sense of looking up into the stars. And that's precisely what we just did. We had this moment of building upwards and upwards and upwards. We broke through, and now we're just staring up. Kind of like ship went off, and we are now we're in space. So let's see where this goes. Lovely synth there. And I think that is our first actual motif. That melody being played, that is kind of like an arpeggio. Motif, of course, being the smallest version of our musical idea, the synth, the seed from which everything else comes from. And number 2, this is an arpeggio. Arpeggio is you play a chord one note at a time. So, let's see. Variations on that. And at the same time, what is keeping our beat steady is another synth, just playing. So we have a synth on the lower end, just playing the chords that the other one is arpeggiating in the melody. Very simple, very effective. Oh, we introduced another element. Ooh. Okay, so those arpeggios might have just been accompaniment, and now we're introducing the melody. That is pretty late to introduce your motif. 1 minute, 30 seconds in, and we're still... Like, now we're introducing a melody. Like, an actual melody for the first time. That's... The fact that it has worked this long... Nice. Broke through again. Bring back the kick drum. Yep, that melody here is the motif. That is the motif, and I don't think... I don't think we've fully used that so far. So it's pretty odd to see that... It's pretty odd to see a piece introduce its main motif this late. Because usually that's one of the first things that you do. Interesting. I like it though. I like it. Let's see where this goes. That. Back we go to a recapitulation of the intro, but now we have a couple of other synths and everything, but overall, same overall idea. But now we're here, right? We're recapitulating, which, you know, it's what it sounds like. We're just recalling, doing a recall of what we've done already. Let's see what this is. So it was a short recall. We introduced this very high-pitched, sped-up voice. And we're building towards another drop. That's a lot of drops, dude. That's a risk, man. That's a risk. Like, they're working. It's just... This is what? The 4th one we do in 2 minutes. That's one every 30 seconds. That's risky. That's risky, man. That's risky. And... Oh, nice. Something that amazes me about electronic music always is how they can get away with having no melodies. Because right now, it's pretty much bass and drums and a couple of samples here and there, like vocal samples with that kind of stuff. The bass line does technically have a melody because, of course, everything would. But, man... I'm a melody-oriented composer. Most of the stuff I make is melody build around that. But in this case, this is beat build around that. So, I can't, like, I don't dislike it. It just conflicts so much with my head. So, Amaras, welcome today. JT, welcome today. Yeah, it just conflicts with what I'm used to. It's one of those things that it just comes across as foreign to me. So, yeah, it's like when I learned that in Hungary, the polite thing to do is to clean your nose in front of everybody. That's the polite thing to do in Hungary. It's giving me that same level of, wait, what? That work? How does that work? That actually works? Oh my god, it actually works. It actually makes sense. So, Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. And yes, in Hungary, the polite thing to do is to just clean your nose, get it over with, and move on. That's the polite thing to do in Hungary. Yeah. Okay. We are doing a drop every 30 seconds on average here. That is wild, dude. That is wild. That's a very, very fast. I mean, it is a good way of establishing structure. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Move in. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the mosh pit. Welcome to the day. So yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a risky thing. So yeah, but I mean the beat is fun. It's a fairly straightforward beat, because a lot of electronic music, you just have a straightforward beat and you just want a very nice, tasty texture to go along with it. And we are having those extra bits of melody here and there, like not melody, the extra samples here and there. Is right. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the mosh pit. That kind of thing. ADHD, it kind of feels that way. I would say it kind of feels like ADHD. I would say, yeah. It's good, but it's one of those things that, yeah, if your attention span cannot exceed 30 seconds, this is giving you something fresh every time. Mine does, so again, this is coming across as foreign to me, and I'm not used to this. I like it, I'm just not used to it. See it. Oh, and we changed the beat to just flat out EDM. So we go from like drum and bass to EDM at the halfway point. Yeah, checks out. Yeah. The samples. Yeah, it's entirely written. Oh, right there. We bring a very cool set of triplets. Let's explain some triplets. Oh, this is from the previous video. I keep forgetting to delete these. So, once again, when it comes to music, as I mentioned before, you've had three things: melody, harmony, rhythm. Rhythm, of course, is what this track has been focused on. Let's go over the concept of time signatures once again. Time signatures is what determines how much a bar or a measure can have in it. The measure is just small amount of space that we determine for rhythm. So let's go over the concept, right? So time signatures, two numbers, top one, number of notes per measure, bottom one, the type of notes. So in English, super easy. Whole note is 1, half note is 2, quarter note is 4, eighth note 8, so on and so forth. So 4 quarter notes. So we count those 1 through 4, and each one of the quarter notes in the measure will be a number. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple. Each one of these is composed by two of the next. So each whole note is made out of 2 half notes. Each half note is made out of 4 quarter notes. Each of 2 quarter notes. Each quarter note is made out of 2 eighth notes. Eighth notes out of 2 16th notes, so on and so forth. So in a 4/4 bar, if you were to put it in eighth notes, you would have 8 eighth notes in a 4/4 bar. And the focus would still be on the beats, the numbered beats. So you would be counting them. You would be counting the regular one as 1, 2, 3, 4. And here in between, you would have what we call and. 1 and 2 and, I think it's the other way around. 3 and 4. No, that's just a number 6. Yeah, I think it's supposed to look something like that. I don't remember these things. 3 and 4 and. And you just count it that way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That is what is called straight eighth notes. And then there is a concept called tupletting, however you want to call this. Which is, you take a certain amount of notes and you cram them in a space where there otherwise would be a different number of notes. The most famous common type is a triplet. Triplet means you put 3 notes where there would usually be a number of notes. So in the most common one is the 8th note triplet. So in this case, instead of it being 2 8th notes in a beat, we would have 3 8th notes in a beat. And it would be symbolized by this little number 3 over here. We can also do this one. So instead of it being 4 and, it becomes 4 ta ta. So we go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 ta ta, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 ta ta. And those triplets are a very cool way of speeding things up. They sound very smooth. They sound very, very smooth. And yeah, it's that simple. It's that simple. And yeah, you can have other types. Like you can have quintuplets, septuplets, sextuplets, six tuplets, I think. When you put 6 notes where there would usually be 2. Yeah, it's that. It's insane. Like the septuplets, like quintuplets, you know, 1 ianata. Like you would have 4. Usually 1 iana, 2 iana. You instead go 1 ianata, 2 ianata, 3 ianata. It gets really, really crazy with that kind of thing, right? So, the triplets, the reason why I brought it is because what Camellia did is we went from the straightforward to a bunch of triplets to speed it up, and now we went off to this next build-up. Let's see how this goes. Off the ramp again. Once again, looking up at the space. Okay, we jump back, we do another recapitulation. Very lovely. So yeah, we do a recapitulation with a bit of variation. We added an extra synth this time around, giving us a little bit more of texture, of added texture, but the overall idea is still the same as the one, I think, after the first drop. Zenkes, thank you for the follow, welcome to the mosh pit. Very pretty, very pretty. I like how this goes from very heavy and hectic to very pretty, like back and forth. Very whiplashy, very ADHD, but yeah. Let's see where this goes. And there we go, one more. A recap. It looks like we are full-on recapping this part. Very good way of reusing material. Just add a couple of extra things. We did have a lot of changes, so there's that. Do you personally evaluate songs' replayability as a composer and someone who also loves music? I feel it is one of the most important factors of a song. There's a way to reach a good balance between a song being complex and not too overpowering. So again, it is one of the careful balances that you need to have, familiar versus new, and I think the better the balance, the more replayability the song will have. A song being replayable means the song is enjoyable enough to be listened more than once. That can be a sign of craftsmanship. It can also be a sign of manipulation, of manufacturing, as we see in things like the pop industry. Like, it's very different to have, because for me, a very lovely replayable track is the overture to Don Giovanni, the overture to Le Nozze di Figaro, the opening of the St. Matthew Passion by Johann Sebastian Bach, the Fifth Symphony of Beethoven, the first movement. That is very replayable to me. Song like, let's see, let me think of a song, like an actual song that I listen to over and over and over again. What's the name? It's by In Mourning. A Shade of Plague by In Mourning. I love that song. Love Souvenir by Seven Spires. I love that song. I consider them very replayable. But that's my preference. That's because I like them a lot. But there is also the fact that these are very well crafted, very well made. So that means that, yes, I am going to want to replay them. So, cheepy cheepy choppa choppa song. Oh, damn it. Yeah, at the end of the day, that is a more subjective side, but I think there are elements such as how well balanced you have, how well crafted the track is, that will influence and will help influence people on replayability. So, Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, let's continue. Let's see here, because we're now doing a recapitulation of the stuff we had closer to the beginning. Let's see where this goes. That first melody once again. Yeah, so we are full on recapitulating everything that we had. We're kind of treating this kind of like a simple binary, which is pretty wild to me because this is far from a simple binary. Simple binary is, let me delete this. So when it comes to music, you have a concept called form, which is just a structure of the sections in your music. A simple binary consists of two sections, A and B. And you might play it twice. And that's it. That is called a simple binary. Considering the changes that we've had, but the consistency of these, we're just recapping beat for beat. We're just going back to A and B overall in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. Let's see how this goes. Back to the drop here. And to bring variation, we actually add a melody this time around. So it's not a simple binary. We are doing AB, A prime, B prime. Prime just means it's a variation. So, variation, yeah, it's the same overall idea, but it has something new to it, which is a clever thing to do. You don't want to just full-on repeat. So, yeah, this one has both EDM and dubstep in it. I think I called it drum and bass earlier, but I think it was drum and bass followed by dubstep, kind of thing. And now this one sounds purely EDM. So yeah, I still mix up the subgenres in electronics. So there's that, right? So let's see. Yeah, pretty much fine, yeah. And this one is a little bit more difficult to tell because the synths are these EDM synths, like the very, like, they sound like kind of like horns, like honking horns in a sense. I don't, like sirens kind of. I don't know. I don't know what instrument or what sound to associate these with. And on top of that, they are kind of cut off by the kick, which again is one of those things that electronic music has, that it can interrupt itself and it works. And so the melody is similar to what we had with the original motif that we had still like a minute in, right? And it's a similar melody. I think it's the same melody, just with a different instrument. And yeah, some breakbeat. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's more techno. There you go. Here we go. Another break. Another drop. We have been averaging a drop every 30 seconds. That is insane, dude. That is an insane amount of drops for the beat. It's fun. And again, I'm finding it's very foreign. So yeah, let's see. No, foreign. We had a little bit of synth. I love this. We have the melody going in that very, like, siren-y synth. I don't know how to call it. And then we have, high up, this other synth giving us a little bit of counterpoint. Sounds a bit more like a piano. And it's giving us counterpoint. Counterpoint, once again, being the study of melodies and how they interact with each other. And it's kind of almost giving us that sense of a flying melody. Again, another colloquial term for me, a flying melody, is just you have a very busy bass line, drum line, which we do, and then up above you have something slower, simpler, going off, flying above everything else that is happening. And it's a beautiful thing, and I love it. And it's kind of happening here too, so let's see. Building for another drop. Let's see where this goes. That technically doesn't count as a drop. That is just a full-on transition. Nice. We take away the melodies that we had. We're back to the bass. Let's see. One thing that I find wild about electronic music, and one of the reasons why I never got myself into it, is that there are subgenres where the entire difference between one subgenre and another is just because you add... It's not that you add a super specific element to it, but you change something in general in a very different way, right? Like it's like the difference between, I don't know, in metal when it comes to thrash metal and folk metal. The difference is that with folk metal, you bring in exotic instruments and you have other instruments. But there's a difference that, yeah, this specific type of electronic music is this because it uses this specific BPM. And then it's the same overall drum beat. You're gonna have the same drum beat. It's just this it's the same drum beat, same BPM, and then everything above it is different. And then another genre is gonna be because it has this one element on top of it. And I find that very wild, because me being, again, from the world of composition, there's music. And you don't put yourself in one of these boxes, you are just making music. Like, when it comes to my music, for example, let me do a shameless plug, right? I delved into orchestral melodic death metal. It has throat singing, Mongolian throat singing in it. It has electric guitars. It has elements of death metal. It has elements of melodic death metal. It has elements of symphonic metal. It has elements of thrash metal. It just overlaps through a lot of stuff. It's all EDM. It's all EDM, and then you try to categorize the individual things. We try to categorize mine, and there's no exact category kind of thing. I mean, the I Live On, that one's more on the, like, groovy, melodic death metal kind of thing. But, yeah, it's that kind of thing. I just find it foreign to me. Again, it's a foreign world to me. But, yeah, let's continue. We're almost done here. Let's see. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Off the ramp we go. We use the intro as the outro. We use the intro as the outro. I like it. Oh! Don't you dare. Just end it, dude. Just end it. There you go. And that brings it... This... No wonder this felt so... This is a palindrome. This was a palindrome. The intro is the same as the outro. The way these things were introduced were the same forwards as they were backwards. So a palindrome, this is a literary term. A palindrome is when you have a word that is written the same way forwards as it is backwards. The easiest one is race car. It is written the same way forwards as it is backwards. Right now, structurally speaking, we saw a palindrome. Now the bricks make a lot more sense. Bob is another one. Boob is another one. So... So you have kayak. So yeah, there are a bunch of palindromes out there. Wow is another one. Lol is another one. So in this case, we had, like, say, we had the intro. We had section A, section B, section C, section D, then back to section C, then back to section B, then back to section A, and then for the outro, we put the intro once again. Creating this, I'm pretty sure there are probably a couple more, like might have gone up to E or F, but we created this palindrome, this mirror image, splitting at the center. I can't draw today, but splitting up at the center, and it looks the same way, and it functions the same way forwards as it does backwards. And the only difference is we just had some variations for them. So it's a mirror image, and there's a little bit of difference in the reflection, but it was roughly the same thing, backwards as it was forwards. Very fascinating, very fascinating. That was fun, though. That was fun. Again, like, I'm still not used to a bunch of the things from electronic music. It's still a very foreign world to me, but yeah, there you go. There you go. Once again, this was Exit This Earth's Atmosphere from Planet Shaper. I understand that is a Roblox game by Camellia. Once again, everybody, this has been this Basterd's LFA, layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and I hope I have explained things in a way that you don't have to be one to understand what has happened here musically. If you're watching this video, thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, follow the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications. Consider becoming a member, like support the channel with money. If you want to listen to this track without me interrupting it every 3 seconds, I will be linking it down below. If you want to request a track and you're not watching on the live stream, links below to the Discord, to the LFA requests channel. Follow the instructions on the pinned messages. And if you want to catch the stream live, links to the Twitch and the Discord are available below with the stream schedule showing in your local time zone. So you don't have to worry about calculating time zones and stuff like that. And yeah, there you go. Good stuff. That was fun. It was very ADHD, but it worked. It worked. Really good stuff. Exit This Earth's Atmosphere. Fun stuff. But yeah, let's move on.